Breaking news, everybody. Bernie Sanders has just officially been declared the winner of the New Hampshire Democratic primary. As I talk to you guys right now, I'm turning on CNN in the background so I could give you some more specific, up-to-date information. But the general idea is he was up about 2 percentage points, and he will finish up about 2 percentage points. Let me see if I can give you, yes, I'll give you some more specific numbers right now. So it's been officially declared. There's Pete Buttigieg came in second place, but there's not enough time for him and not enough votes out there for him to make up the gap here. But Bernie has 26%. Buttigieg has 24.4%. To give you the total breakdown, the numbers, Bernie has 68,045 votes as I speak to you right now, and this is with 90% reporting. And Buttigieg has 63,761 votes. So that's a difference of 4,284 votes. And again, there's just, not enough votes out there for Buttigieg to make it up, even under a best case scenario for him. Now, what's interesting is that when all is said and done, Bernie will win by about 2 percentage points, but he'll actually win by a smaller margin than, when he won Iowa. Now, they're refusing to just flat out say that Bernie Sanders won Iowa, but indeed he did win Iowa, and he won by 6,000 votes in the Iowa caucus, and it came out to about 3.5%. Again, this is going to be about 4,500 votes or so that Bernie wins by, and it's going to be 2 percentage points to 2.5 percentage points. But even though this victory is smaller than the victory in Iowa, because of all the fuckery surrounding Iowa and the fact that they wouldn't say that Bernie Sanders won, this is actually viewed as a bigger win for Bernie. So it's really weird the way that it works, and don't try to make sense of it. It seems utterly ridiculous that they can't just admit that Bernie won Iowa and Bernie won New Hampshire. Now, in the case of Iowa, as you guys know, they're trying to say that Pete won the state delegate elects. However, if you actually fix the outstanding errors that we know are there, Bernie Sanders wins not only the popular vote, but also the state delegate elects. So it's a very weird situation, but Bernie Sanders won the Iowa caucus. Now he won the New Hampshire primary. I want to give you some more numbers. I'll give you a specific breakdown. Again, it's been called by everybody at this point. But listen to this. So this is the support for Bernie when you break it down by demographic group. So non-white women went to Bernie Sanders 45%. Pete's next 17%. So Bernie crushed him there. Warren 12%, Biden 11%. Out of all non-white voters, now there aren't that many non-white voters in New Hampshire, but out of the non-white voters, you had Bernie Sanders won 39%, Biden won 17%, Pete won 12%, Warren won 11%. So Bernie crushed for non-white voters. When it comes to women, Bernie 43%. The closest one was Warren at 24%. Crushed there as well. Get this. Voters 18 years old to 44 years old, Bernie 43%, Warren 20% was the closest to him. He more than doubled the closest person to him. Listen to this, man. This fact is crazy. Bernie Sanders got more voters under the age of 30 than all of the other candidates combined. So that's absolutely incredible. Now, I do also have to reflect for a second on, the other people in the race here. So Pete had a relatively strong showing, but Amy Klobuchar is the real, outside of Bernie being the winner, and that's the number one story, the number two story is actually Amy Klobuchar, because Klobuchar has 19.8% of the vote, which is 52,000 votes, but she, going into today, the polls only showed her at 10%, so she doubled her support. Now, how did she do that? I mean, it's up in the air, but the thing that happened most recently involving her was the debate, and she absolutely obliterated Pete in that debate, and she likely took some of Pete's voters in that debate. And for people who made up their minds late, some of the exit polls show many of them went to Klobuchar. So, in a weird way, if you're a Bernie supporter, you should kind of thank her because she ended up helping us by splitting that centrist vote even more. Now, after that, after Klobuchar, she came in third. Warren is all the way down at 9.3%. That is an abysmal showing. And she's going to get no delegates from this. So, terrible showing for her. There's no path for her to get the nomination. She hasn't dropped out, but I mean, really, if she's being serious, she should drop out because it's delusional to think she has a shot at this point now. Biden, 8.4%. He's also not viable now. So no delegates here. And even though he had himself a little bit of a firewall coming up on Super Tuesday, that firewall's gonzo, son. It is gone. There's no way that firewall is still there now because he did so bad in Iowa and now so bad in New Hampshire as well. Then you had Steyer, 3.6%, Tulsi, 3.2%, and then Yang at 2.8%. Now, Yang has officially dropped out. He just did it. I'm going to do a separate segment on that. And also, Surfer Bro Michael Bennett dropped out. Red tubular breath. And Deval Patrick also dropped out. So you had a few people drop out. Again, I'll do a separate segment on the Yang thing. But, I mean, the big story, of course, is Bernie Sanders wins the New Hampshire primary. Now, another interesting fact is that he won 7 of the largest cities in New Hampshire. So that's fascinating because the last time around, it was just Bernie versus Hillary, and Bernie crushed Hillary. He got like 60% of the vote. But he was strongest in the more rural areas. So the fewer people there are, the smaller the towns, the better he did. Now you're seeing a little bit of a reversal in that he actually does well in big cities now as well. So what I will say is moving forward, the Bernie actually should make an effort. The campaign should make an effort to fix the few outstanding weaknesses they have. And right now, the biggest weakness is older voters. It's definitely older voters and white voters, which is hilarious because that kind of flies in the face of, what the mainstream media narrative is around him. Oh my God, he can't do well with people of color. He's crushing with people of color. He's not, his weakness is older voters, namely older white voters. That's his biggest struggle at the moment. But I should also say that the media will try to portray this as a loss for Bernie. They're going to do that guaranteed. And their one argument that they cling to is, oh my God, Bernie got 150,000 votes, in 2016 running against Hillary, and this time he's only going to get 70 or 75,000 votes thereabout, maybe 80,000. And you have to understand, guys, now there's 10 people in the race. Back then there were 2. So that main argument that they're going to use is really not a good argument. And they're just grasping at straws to try to find a way to make it be the case that the winner actually is a loser. So that's what the media is going to do. We know the media is going to do that. But the polls did show going into today that Bernie had about a 6-point advantage. And I didn't say it publicly, but I was thinking that Bernie was going to win by 6 to 8 points in the primary. He didn't. So what I will say is, even though this is a victory and we can be very happy about it, we better get our asses to work because this is not over. There's still a dogfight going on. This is still a race. It is not over by any stretch of the imagination. Now, turnout was up 18%, but, turnout should have been up more than that. I would have been more comfortable if turnout was up more than that. I would have been more comfortable if he won by 6 to 8 percentage points. So what I will say is, even though we won, even though we can celebrate and be happy about it, there's still a hell of a lot more work to do. There really is. And we can't rest. You can't take a day off. You can't take your foot off the gas pedal. You got to get going, man. And if you've been thinking, hey, should I help? Should I not help? Hey, I don't know. How do I get involved? How do I do this? How do I do that? Man, just do it. Just do it. Get off the couch. Make phone calls. Send text messages. Knock on doors. Speak to your family. Speak to your friends. Just do whatever you can to try to get this man elected. But again, the main narratives coming out of tonight, Bernie Sanders the winner. No way around that. And Joe Biden is low energy Jeb. Elizabeth Warren is done. There's no path for her forward at all. And what'll happen with Buttigieg and Klobuchar now is interesting because, definitely for Buttigieg, he invested a lot into these first two states, and he's banking on a bump from here. But, they're Buttigieg and Klobuchar are polling at like 0% and 2% with black voters respectively. So they're about to, kind of hit a brick wall in their support unless they get another further media bump. So I don't know. We'll see what happens moving forward. But Bernie Sanders is the winner. Tonight we celebrate, but tomorrow we keep working.